Continuing with pricing with market power, we see another question. In this, Sal has a company that broadcasts TV to subscriber in Los Angeles and New York. We have two different demand functions for New York and LA, where Q is in thousand of subscription per year and P is the subscription price. We are also given the cost that is incurred for per units of service, that is C equals to 1000 plus 40Q, and we are also given with Q equals to Q New York plus Q Los Angeles. We need to find out that what is the profit maximizing prices and quantities for the New York and Los Angeles markets. We know that a monopolist with two markets, that is Los Angeles and New York, should pick quantities in each market so that the marginal revenues in both the markets are equal to one another. We know that the marginal cost here is $40. To determine the marginal revenue, we first solve for price as a function of quantity. First, for New York, PNY 240 minus 4 QNY, and for Los Angeles, PLA equals to 200 minus 2 QLA. Since the marginal revenue curve has twice the slope of the demand curve, we find that the marginal revenue curve for the respective markets are marginal revenue of New York equals to 240 minus 8Q New York, and the marginal revenue for Los Angeles equals to 200 minus 4QLA. Now, setting each marginal revenue equals to cost, we determine the profit maximizing quantity in each sub-market. That is, MRNY equals to MC equals to MRLA. That is, 40 equals to 240 minus 8Q New York, and 40 equals to 200 minus 4 QLA, and this comes to QNY equals to 25 and QLA equals to 40. Now, to determine the price in each sub-market by substituting the profit maximizing quantity into the respective demand equation, we get PNY equals to 240 minus 4 into 25, getting us 140. Similarly, for LA, when we do PLA equals to 200 minus 2 into 40, giving us $120. Moving on to the next subpart. Now we are given a new situation. In this, the Pentagon recently deployed a satellite which gives Los Angeles New York's broadcast, and people in New York receive Sal's Los Angeles broadcast, thus, which essentially means that Sal can only charge a single price. Now the question is, what price should he charge and what quantities will he sell in New York and Los Angeles? Given this news, Sal can no longer separate the two markets. So he now needs to consider the total demand function, which is the horizontal summation of LA and New York. Above a price of 200, that is the vertical intercept of the demand function for Los Angeles viewers, the total demand is just the New York demand function, whereas below 200, we add the two demand functions, that is Q total equals to 60 minus 0.25 P plus 100 minus 0.5 P, or QT equals to 160 minus 0.75 P. Now rewriting this demand function results in P equals to 160 by 0.75 minus 1 by 0.75 Q. Now the total revenue PQ equals to 213.3 minus 1.3 Q into Q, which gives us 213.3 Q minus 1.3 Q square, and we find the MR equals to 213.3 minus 2.6 Q. Now setting the marginal revenue equals to marginal cost, we find the profit maximizing price, that is 213.3 minus 2.6 Q equals to 40, or Q equals to 65. Now in order to find that profit maximizing price, we substitute Q equals to 65 into the profit maximizing demand equation, that is 65 equals to 160 minus 0.75 P, or P equals to $126.67. Although a price of $126.67 is charged in both markets, different quantities are purchased in each market. For example, Q New York equals to 60 minus 0.25 into 126.67, giving us 28.3. Similarly, QLA gives 100 minus 0.5 into 126.67, giving us 36.7. Thus together 65 units are purchased at a price of $126.67. Now in this question we are to analyze both the question that we had seen above, that is A and B, and we need to figure out in which condition was Sal better off. In terms of consumer surplus, which situation will the New York prefer while the Los Angeles prefer in which condition, and why? Sal is better off in the situation with the highest profit. Under the market condition, in the first question, we find pi equals to Q New York into price of New York plus Q LA plus price of LA minus 1000 plus 40 into Q New York plus Q LA. That is pi equals to 25 into $140 plus 40 into $120 minus 1000 plus 40 into 25 plus 40, giving us $4,700. Now under the market condition of B, we find pi equals to QTP minus 1000 plus 40 QT, or pi equals to 126.67 into 65 minus 1000 plus 40 into 65, giving us 4630 $33.33. Therefore, Sal is better off when the two markets are separated. Now, in order to find the consumer surplus under the demand curve above price, we consider the market conditions in A, and we find separate consumer surplus of New York and Los Angeles. That is for New York, 0.5 into 240 minus 140 into 25, giving us $1,250. Similarly, proceeding for Los Angeles, we have a consumer surplus of 1,600, and under the market conditions of B, we do the same process again. That is, the consumer surplus of New York under condition B is that we find 1603.37, whereas that of Los Angeles comes to 1345.67. Thus, the New Yorkers prefer 8B because the equilibrium price is 126.67 instead of 140, thus giving them a higher consumer surplus. The customers in Los Angeles prefer 8A because the equilibrium price is 120 and instead of 126, giving them a higher consumer surplus.